Hi, my name is Dr. Michelle Miedenberg, and I have a guest with us today, Alex Diaz. He is a very seasoned and talented therapist, and I will let him introduce himself, and he will tell you a little bit about himself. And the talk is really going to focus on clients that he's working with and how he's helping them to cope during this very, very obviously challenging time for all of us. Hi, Alex.
Great, Michelle. Thanks so much. My name is Dr. Alex Diaz. I have a practice that basically addresses two different clienteles. One is the regular family or children. They have their family dynamic, stressors, and different adjustments they have to make in their lives, sometimes more easier than others times. The other component of our clientele is the athlete, the high school or college athlete that have to address the additional component of how to navigate being a human being, of being a family member and a student, and how to be also an athlete as I want to pursue academic achievement and athletic achievement. So it's a different component altogether.
Alex, I just have a quick question because I know you're Spanish speaking.
That's right. Yeah.
So I also was just curious, if you do your sessions or if you're seeing some of your clients and, use your Spanish speaking.
Quite a lot. I mean, they come quite handy if the families are comfortable with Spanish. I can very easily shift to the Spanish language, and the knowing the culture of different countries has helped me to understand where they come from. So it becomes a very natural way of shifting from one language and culture from English to Spanish, from back and forth. So that comes very easily. And sometimes I have clients who are bilingual, so they go back and forth, different languages, of both languages. So
Yes.
I can easily tune into from one to another. So that becomes quite
Well, and it's important for kind of
yeah.
the audience to know about you because, it's important for those who are bilingual and who need a Spanish speaking therapist. I did want to mention it.
Great, thank you. Yeah. So Michelle, in my experience lately, what I've been seeing, I mean, this coronavirus situation is really creating a lot of concern, fear. I mean, we know we live it personally at different levels, and there are fears from many issues. Of course, the fear of the unknown, of when it is going to get any better. And sometimes we are glued to the TV thinking that maybe it can provide some information that can relieve some of the stress that we feel. Sometimes we feel like we don't have enough protection. Sometimes we feel like I prefer to stay indoors or rather in my home because I don't want to even be close to anybody else. So we create kind of a OCD kind of experiences. So there are many different layers that these experiences really bring us to feel. And one of the challenges is that when we have our typical life, we have our segmented experiences. Like the father goes to work, sometimes the mother stays home or she may go to work, and the children go to school. So they all have their own rituals in a way that where they keep themselves busy. But now everybody's together under one same roof. So it brings a lot of readjustments at so many different levels. The parents have to, some of them work from home and adjusting to the e-working, but also the child has to do e-learning. And this is not easy. It's not easy not to have engagement with my coworker or not to hear the teacher or to raise my hand so I can talk and hear my other student challenging my thinking and then go for recess and talk about blah, 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 blah. All that is missing, and hopefully just temporarily and shortly. But doesn't mean that this process is bringing us to a loop that everybody, not just you and not me, everybody is affected by it. So if we look at this from a spectrum or continuum perspective, let's say on one end, we have the ideal social connection and integration that we like to connect with others. On the other one, we also have kind of a solitude experience.
Mhm.
And solitude can also be a positive experience. How many times do we say to ourselves, just give me some time, I want to be by myself alone because I need to do some work or blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
We need solitude because oftentimes from solitude, it comes creativity, we feel calm, we need to rest. The challenge, I think, is when we jump over the solitude experience that we all need to the loneliness experience.
Mm.
So if we can become more aware of this continuum spectrum, and it is healthy to go from solitude to social engagement and raise the awareness of when I jump over to loneliness, that in itself can be very awakening.
And Alex, I just wanted to say one thing is, often I think we confuse being alone and being lonely, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So I think even in a household where there
That's
are
right.
many people,
Yeah.
or several
That's right.
people,
Yep.
you could still feel lonely, right?
That's right.
Because maybe your connection is attached to your peer
That's right.
relationship.
That's right. Yeah. 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 And as human beings, we thrive in
Mhm.
connecting with one another, right? So
Yes.
in moments of in this continuum going back and forth, if we moving more towards to the end of solitude and sometimes feeling alone, so maybe that could be opportunity to say, well, how can I re-engage with someone?
Hmm.
So maybe is FaceTime the same as face to face? Absolutely not. I mean, our nervous system is wired to connect with another human being's nervous system, not to a computer. That's a very different interaction altogether.
Yes.
So, but having at least some connection, that is helpful. Going outside, I mean, for a simple walk within the safety of keeping social distancing, that in itself can be very energizing,
Mhm.
just seeing the some people in the distance, or smelling the grass, or seeing the environment, the homes, or maybe if it is appropriate, go for a bicycle ride. Again, maintaining social distancing and the safety of your safety and that of others. So that in itself can become engaging. So we don't have to be secluded within the
Mhm.
our home and remain there. So there are other ways that we can engage and create semi ideally the social engagement experience. Um, so, I mean, personally, as I speak Spanish, I'm from Argentina. We've had quite a few Zoom that becomes very typical. Zoom have become very famous. Conversation with many family members. I
Yeah.
think at one point we were like a 15,
Wow.
which was super. I don't think we have ever had a Zoom talk for 15 people
Hmm.
from Argentina, West Coast, East Coast, you name them. It was really, really cool. So, but all this came from being in this isolated, well, solitude, alone place that this corona is taking us into this unknown experience. So if we can take this, as challenging as it is, but there is some silver lining. There's some positive if we can take advantage of what can I do so I can take the best out of the situation, even in turn, because today, hopefully soon enough, we will find a solution for this virus. And what have we learned individually and as a family? So when we all come out from hibernation, then we come ahead even healthier of a different perspective.
Hmm.
So even for athletes, I mean, the similar conversation. Imagine if you were an athlete that practices a spring sport. The season is gone,
Hmm.
gone. If you are high school and you're hoping that somebody was going to be watching you, what a missed opportunity. If we're a college student, the same thing. So maybe they were hoping to graduate and have the graduation with your teammates or your high school classmates. Ooh, that's a big miss in anybody's life. I mean, we all remember throwing the cap, the gown, well, the cap, not the gown, or maybe the gown, I don't know. Uh,
Uh-huh.
uh, but that's one of those life experiences that
Yeah.
quite difficult to recreate. Doesn't mean that what can we learn from these positive experiences? And we can still reconnect. And athletes can use this time to reset goals. Something similarly to when we get an injury. When an injury, nobody expects to get an injury. And now we have to go into surgery, maybe have to go through rehabilitation for 3, 6 months and watch from the sidelines in a way how my friends are competing. Somewhat similarly, we have to be on the sidelines now, sometimes at home, just hoping that this rehab goes fast enough.
Mhm.
And so we have to reset goals. Maybe have to reach out to my physical therapist or to my coach, to my teammates, and what can we do to continue being in mental shape and as much as physical shape and also nutritional shape. We tend to sometimes in feeling, oh, we may feel bored, we just eat
Mhm.
too much. So finding goals can be very structured even during these times.
And Alex, I was just going to add to that because I think the stuckness that we get into is the comparison.
That's right.
It's not this, so therefore, and we kind of rationalize that I'm not doing anything,
That's right. That's right. Yes.
rather than it's not that, but this is what it is. And
That's
what
right.
can I do within these
That's
confines?
right. Yes, that's right. So again, so by taking this opportunity, first out of normalizing that this is happening to all of us, and also then look at the spectrum of where I am feeling, how I'm feeling today, and what can I do to notice that if I'm not feeling myself 100%, maybe reaching out to others, reconnecting, and even reconnecting with if I am a child, to mom and dad, or I am a parent, to reach out to my son or daughter. So maybe we can play more board games together. Something we haven't done since when we were, 4 years old or 7, right? But it's a time when maybe it's be a wonderful opportunity to re-engage in family unity.
Mhm.
And one day we may look back and say, remember during this coronavirus, we all playing together, playing, I don't know, backgammon or whatever. But wasn't that the essence of what family is all about, being all together? So we cherish that there are many, many things that we should be grateful even during these times
Mhm.
for things that we have and also for things that we don't have.
Mhm.
And we are fortunate enough that all of us can be together and share one space. Isn't that a great opportunity to
Mhm.
embrace that gift of being together? So we have a wonderful memories, lived memories that we can bring inside of us for life.
Yeah.
So wonderful.
And I wanted to just summarize what you just said, the last part of it, which I think is so key. The gratefulness, right?
Mm,
The gratefulness for what we do have and the gratefulness for what we don't have, because we
that's right.
take things for
Yeah.
granted.
Yeah.
So now we could actually really, really kind of tap into this gratefulness, right? Like for the things we take for granted and for the
Oops.
things
Yeah.
that we have at our disposal right
That's
now.
right. That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We take for granted that we are healthy. I hope that everybody remains healthy, right? We have to be extra cautious now just to stay and remain healthy, right?
Yes.
So,
And
yes.
I think that's gonna come with its own challenges.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So even for athletes, I help them to reset goals and create what we call imageries. So the imagery of seeing themselves performing how they want to see themselves successfully achieving whatever they are pursuing.
Mhm.
So, because the more we feed our mind into something we want to see ourselves performing, in a way, the mind later remembers exactly how that is done.
Mhm.
So, yes, it's not the essence of kicking the soccer ball or hitting the tennis ball, but in the mind, I can still remember very vividly the same experience. So the muscles can later respond to what we want to execute.
I
So,
love that.
yeah,
So thank you so much
yeah,
for
welcome,
all of your
Joe.
wonderful tips. And I think, I'm so with you on that. Like it's such a great time to recalibrate. I love that word. There isn't a better time than
Absolutely.
now. And we were, unfortunately we were forced into this position.
Yes.
And I always think about us as resilient warriors, right?
Yeah.
So what can we get out of this?
Yeah.
Although it's been challenging, how can we walk out even a better kind of more enhanced than we already are?
Absolutely. It's something that is
Yeah,
opportunity to embrace even
sure.
the positive of this, so we can all grow internally and come ahead better than we were 4 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for your
You're very
time.
welcome. Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank